You're listening to the Pain Source podcast with Scott Kroner and Ryan Conley.
Thanks, CJ Leaf. Hello, everybody. This is the Pacers podcast, where we hopefully help you through the pain of being a Pacers fan. I'm Scott Kroner, and this is my co-host, Ryan Conley.
What's up, Scott? Today we'll be going over the new Malice at the Palace documentary on Netflix that just came out a week ago. Shout out to. You just want to redo that?
That's kind of funny.
Okay.
I feel like that's fine. That's fine.
All right. Shout out to Richard Khalil for giving us the idea, and sorry if we messed up your name. Anyway, Scott, what did you think about the documentary?
So I honestly really liked the documentary. I thought it was one of my favorite I've ever watched. The producing and editing was like really top tier. Like I wasn't really expecting like a sports documentary to be like such high quality, but I mean they really went out on this, and like I understand like the amounts of like advertising and like pushing out the content, 'cause like this is like a really good package.
How do you think it compared to, how did you think it compared to like the last dance?
I mean, The Last Dance, they're kind of like two different things. Like The Last Dance was like a whole like Michael Jordan's career. This was just like one night basically. But I do see some similarities between like the quality, but I think The Last Dance was probably more of like a wider um like liked documentary, because Michael Jordan's way more liked than the Pacers in general. But I still liked both documentaries, don't get me wrong, but yeah.
Yeah. So what I think was, I think it could have been a little bit like longer.
Yeah,
When I was done with it, I kind of wanted a little bit more than just that one game.
for sure.
Like, I know they can't really make a whole series out of just one game.
Yeah, I was about to say like it's hard to like increase it more than an hour for a one night event. Like it was basically just one
Yeah.
night. And then half of it was like the leading up to the Mouse of the Palace, which I mean it was fine. Like did you like that?
I mean, it got really boring. I knew I was just playing a little bit on my phone during it, just
Mhm.
because of how like it was really boring. Because going in, I think you already know about the night, because everyone knows, or almost everyone knows about the night of the night of the game. But I don't think anyone can really grasp the Pistons and Pacers rivalry during that era.
That's true. That's true. 'Cause like yeah, I honestly I didn't really know about how big the rivalry between the Pacers and Pistons were, because a year before the Mouse of the Palace they went at it in the Eastern Conference Finals. And Reggie Miller said whoever won that series won the championship. The Pistons beat the Pacers 4-2, and then they eventually beat the Lakers in the finals. So I think the Pacers were just really riled up the next year, which
Yeah.
eventually led to the Mouse of the Palace on November 19th, 2004. I think there were a lot of problems with the team. You having Ron Artest, um, Jermaine O'Neal, and then eventually they got Steven Jackson in that 2004-2005 season. Um, I just think it's like a known fact that you shouldn't have so many like loose cannons on one team, because that'll bound to like cause some problems.
Right. And also, it's just all their personalities don't really mix.
Yeah,
Like, it covered it, like Jermaine and Ron, were, like the best two defensive guys
yeah,
on the court together, but they were not. None of them were like really close friends off the court.
yeah. They weren't like sticking to one page, as Reggie Miller would say.
Yeah.
Um, like Ryan said, like the Pacers defense back then was just amazing. You had probably the best perimeter defender in Ron Artest, and then the best interior defender as Jermaine O'Neal. So it was a very tough squad, but I think it all comes down to if your team is like on the same page, and if your team can like function correctly, because they had the talent to win the championship, but I think just their mentality was just all out of whack.
So let's talk. So first half of the movie was about the events leading up to the night. So what did you think about just that first half? Like, what grade would you give it?
It was all right. I'll give it like a B. I think it was fine. It was just they did have to eventually explain like the rivalry between the Pistons and Pacers, like I said. So I mean, it was fine. Like I understand why you needed to put that in, but I honestly just really like the second half of the documentary. What about you?
Um, so I really just like the second half, but I feel like it did a good because you have to remember people who aren't even Pacers fans or Pistons fans are gonna watch this.
That's true. Actually, not even
Uh,
like NBA fans. Like this is
yeah,
seven. This was the time that I watched this. It was ninth in the whole of Netflix. Not even like sports. Like the whole of Netflix. So
yeah, it was on the top 10.
yeah,
Um, which is like really big for it.
insane.
But
If it's like a ton of shows are going on right now. So
yeah, it was pretty cool. Which we, we just said that, but we forgot to at the beginning.
yeah. But, well, we got clout, you know. Or
Yeah,
one time we got clout. It's about a documentary that happened 20 years
well,
ago.
and we got caught
Woo!
in 2004
Yeah.
when the event happened.
Yeah, that's true. And we've been forgotten ever since.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, I think it did a good job explaining to non NBA fans and non Pacer Piston fans.
yeah. I honestly do have to admit they did a great job doing that. So, for me, the first half I didn't really need to watch, but the second half, but if you weren't an NBA fan, the first half was it was needed. So let's go into the night. So, we were up, we were dominating the Pistons. The Pistons were not expecting this at all. The fans were getting riled up. But eventually we were blowing them out of the water. People started to leave. Eventually the season ticket holders started to leave because we were destroying them by I think it was like 10 or 20, and it was the fourth quarter. And then the people from the upper stands started to trickle down, and the upper stands peasants, as I would say, they were a little bit tipsy, a little bit drunk.
Yes.
So it eventually caused fuel to the fire as Tinsley said to Ron Artest, you can get your foul or something along those lines. To Ron Artest, I don't know why he would say that because Ron Artest is already a loose cannon, so you don't want to rile him up even more. So Ben Wallace was in the post against Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal just let him go by because, like, who cares? They were up by like 15. And then Ron Artest just pushed him out of nowhere because he said, I didn't want him to get the basket. Um, And then Ben Wallace didn't like that. He pushed Ron Artest, and the rest was history.
Yeah. Um, it was a dumb foul, but in the beginning they did cover how Ron Artest thought of every player not on his team as his enemy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it makes sense, but don't tell Ron Artest that he has one foul to give.
Yeah, exactly. Like why would you say that? Just like let him play. Um but yeah, that eventually led to a whole brawl between, well, not a whole brawl,
Oh,
but there was some like pushes and shoves. Oh my God. Um between Ron Artest or just the Pacers and Pistons in general. And then Ron Artest eventually just like, because he was in therapy. I didn't know this, but he did therapy before this, like for the past 2 years, and he just sat on the scores table, which was probably not the best idea, but he said he was trying to calm himself down. So, what do you think about that, Ryan? You rocking with
uh,
that?
laying down on the scorers table?
Yeah,
No, that's completely disrespectful, not just to the other team, but to the fans as well,
yeah.
and to all the staff too.
Because this
It's
was
like,
at Detroit.
yeah, it was. It's not like he was laying on his own
Yeah,
scorers table. But I think something we need a flashback to is the referees.
Right.
because I don't know if you saw who they interviewed, which was Tim. Is it Tim or Tom Donahue?
Probably
Anyway, it's the
Tim.
guy.
That sounds like more of a rough name, Tim.
Anyway, that was the guy who illegally betted on games he refed. If you want to hear that,
Oh, was that the Kings and the Lakers? Was it that?
it's like the guy who he got arrested.
Oh shit.
Okay, it's Tim. You're right.
Yo, let's go. I don't really remember the fine details, I'm not gonna lie, but Ryan's
Yeah.
got me for that.
Anyway, he even mentioned how referees hated Piston games because the fans were just so rowdy and they would get drunk all the time and stuff like that.
Right. And also 'cause like well, they were called the Bad Boy Pistons for a reason. They were really
Oh yeah,
physical. They would always try and like just hurt people. So like reffing, it's a scary time. I would have to admit because you're a small white dude against these huge people. Like bro, I'd be scared if I was a ref.
yeah.
Um.
Definitely.
But let's continue what just happened in the brawl. So Ron Artest is just laying on the scores table, letting his boys defend him. Ben Wallace is throwing some headbands. He's got 6 armbands on his arm. He starts like throwing them like a frisbee at Ron Artest. But Ron Artest, he's chilling. He's chilling until this stupid fucking fan just decided to just yeet a beer bottle in the direction of Ron Artest, and oh my god, it was a direct hit. Like I looked at the footage, and that fan was like at least like 20 rows back. Like it was just an insane perfect throw. He threw it like a frisbee. Uh, and it just direct hit on Ron Artest, and Ron Artest went ape shit.
I think you forgot that Ron Artest was a basketball player and could run 20 rows in probably less than 2 seconds.
Oh, facts. That man was gone. He was climbing up those stairs like no other. It reminds me of like when I turn off the basement lights and then I just run up the basement stairs. That was what Ron Artest was doing. Um, but yeah, Ron Artest he went up those 20 flights of stairs in a split second. And then he fucking just punched a random dude. He didn't even punch the dude that threw the beer bottle. He just saw some dude. It just started just going batshit at him. Um, and then
And then
what's up?
you see, is it Jack? Was it Jackson or was it Jermaine coming to go help punch the other guy?
It was I think it was Jackson,
Okay,
Steven
that's
Jackson.
who. That's who I thought it was.
So basically, these two huge dudes just start like ganging up on this one dude that didn't even do anything. Probably has a wife and kid. And he just got brutally like murdered by two random people.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, later down the documentary, they interviewed the actual person who like threw the beer bottle, and oh my god, I can't with this dude. He's the most annoying fucking dude. Ryan,
Was it?
you explain it. I can't.
I forget. Was it the crazy one, like the crazy fan with his face paint, or was it
Nah, it was a dude
the
with like
like
the blue
short fat
jacket.
guy?
It was like
Short fat guy.
it was a bald dude.
Oh, okay. Um, see. So, oh yeah, so he said he wanted to. His goal was to trip run our test.
Yeah.
Just to be annoying. But then let's fast forward to when everything had or not calmed down, but everyone was back on the court. All the players were back on the court,
Hmm.
and he was uh definitely drunk. And he walked onto the court right in front of Run Artest with no one near him except for his buddy.
That man just ate it. He ate that punch. Like Ron Artest, like I don't blame Ron Artest for throwing that punch because the dude walked down. Well, this wasn't the dude who threw the bottle, but
No.
it was just some random dude who just walked out on the court and just like getting his hands ready to fight this huge, what is he, like 6'8", 250?
Yeah, I think he's about that.
Something like
He's
that.
a big dude.
He's a big dude. Like this dude's, I mean, he's a big dude as well, but he's like fat, not muscular fat, you
Yeah,
know.
no, no. Ron Artest is like muscular and huge and tall.
And he grew up on the streets, so he
Yes.
just went, yeah. Um, so that was one thing. So after everything calmed down, you you start to realize like where's the security and where's the police officers? Because I'm pretty sure the police officer said there was 3 whole officers on site. Um, yeah, that's a problem because especially this rivalry between the Pacers and Pistons. The fans are going to get
Yes.
riled up on a Friday night. So I would have expected more of a security in case this shit happens, and they didn't have enough like security to like defend everybody, and it just went crazy.
And they were on the east side of the court, which was like the
Right.
farthest away from all the action.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's really. Oh, let's talk about the police officers who didn't know who Reggie Miller
Oh
was.
my God, yeah. What the fuck? Are you living under a rock, you Amish? Like, what? Like, cause Reggie Miller had a broken finger, so he was suited up, in a suit. He was trying to calm Ron Artest down, and then this police officer just came up to Ron Artest with a fucking mace, ready to spray everything. Mind you, it was when everything was like calming down. This police officer was just going, just gonna spray this motherfucker. And then Reggie Miller's like, whoa, 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 chill, chill, chill. And then this police officer's like, who the fuck are you? And then I don't know how you don't know who Reggie Miller is and what team he's on. Even Steven Jackson is like, he's word for word like, how the fuck do you not know who Reggie Miller is? But yeah, that was just a funny part of it.
I think they thought Reggie Miller was a fan, just
Yeah.
like randomly on the court.
Which is fair. There were a lot of people on the court that weren't players,
Yeah, yeah.
but all in all, um, it calmed down a little bit, and then the Pacers had to go through that dreaded tunnel where it got a little bit riled up more. People were throwing drinks, people were throwing popcorn, people were just throwing anything they saw in their general direction, and they just started throwing it at Ron Artest, Steven Jackson, and Jermaine O'Neal. And this is where Jermaine O'Neal got involved. He somebody picked up a fucking chair. Like I'm pretty sure those chairs are like
Oh
glued to
yeah.
the floor. This motherfucker just yanks it out of the ground and then just starts throwing it at Jermaine O'Neal. And Jermaine O'Neal, like obviously he's gonna respond to that. Like fuck it, I would too. I would start going ape shit if you threw a fucking metal chair at me from those like churches. Like those things hurt. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, like it was just crazy. And then they got through the tunnel eventually. Security guards and like their personal security I just heard like they were getting pissed at the players. It was just funny.
Wait, I think so. Then after the game, they talk about the afterwards part,
Right.
which is like what happened after. So first, uh, Ron got suspended for the rest of the season.
Right.
Um, Jermaine got suspended for like half of it,
Mhm.
and I think Jackson also got suspended for half of it. I don't
Yeah, hold on.
remember
I'm gonna look it up.
100%. But and then it also covers like all of the news stories and what the media and news thought of it.
Right.
And what they said was the players should never go into the fans area,
Which is fair.
which yes, that is fair. But the fans, I feel like at least the fans took it way too far,
Yeah, exactly.
like really far.
Because
Uh,
you have to realize like fans are or players are human after all, so you can't just like treat them like animals, like caged animals. Like they're gonna fight back. You gotta treat them with like human decency. So yeah.
Yeah, and they're not what people think or what people thought back then were players were just people who played for your entertainment.
Right.
But they have lives outside of this. They most of them had to fight to get here. So if they and no player's ever looking for a fight, but if you give them the opportunity to or a good reason to, they're going to fight you.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so back to the suspensions. So Ron Artest was suspended the remainder of the season, which totaled up to 86 games, 73 regular season and 13 playoff games, and also $5 million lost in his salary. Steven Jackson for 30 games and 1.7 mil. Jermaine O'Neal 15 games. It was originally 25 games, but it was reduced to an appeal later on, and then also 4.1 mil. Ben Wallace 6 games and 400,000, and then Anthony Johnson 5 games and 120,000, and then Reggie Miller got suspended for 1 game. That must be a new thing. A person on the sideline, not even setting foot on the court playing, got suspended. That's interesting.
What did he get suspended for? Does
I,
it say?
no, it just says it's 1 game. So I don't know why he got suspended. I mean, maybe because he got up and
Yeah.
like I guess I don't even know. Anyways, yeah, Ryan, explain like the after things of like the media and what everybody thought of this Mouse at the Palace.
Right. So we already touched on like how they thought that like the players were like so in the wrong. Um and this really set the NBA because people were unsure about the NBA at this time. This was more of the Renaissance because it was before LeBron James and Kobe Bryant like blew up,
Mhm.
but it was after Michael Jordan. It was that in between the weird in between time,
Yeah.
and it was becoming more
Get
uh
ghetto.
more ghetto and like thuggy. Bunch of people who the fans felt like the players weren't focusing on just basketball. They had other priorities. Like Ron Artest was making music during this season.
That dude.
Uh or players were working more on shoe deals and shoe brands than they were on basketball. Stuff like that. And they thought that the players didn't care and wanted to just um make big names for themselves outside of basketball.
Yeah. And honestly, they kind of right. Like basketball in that era was just a lot of thugs. It wasn't as bad as like the 60s and 70s. That was where a bunch of drug users and um shit had to like change. But this was also another time where just like basketball, like what Ryan said, it's not the main priority. So the media basically thought of the players as slugs. So David Stern, being worried about his being the owner of the NBA, was worried about the like how his business is being viewed as. He made a dress code where you have to wear a tuxedo. You can't like wear like hip hop clothing, so it'll be less uh like thuggy, which I don't know if I agree with. I mean, I understand that you had to do that, but it's like it's freedom of speech. Um, but yeah, the media was just going hammering on the NBA's players, but it's just it really wasn't the players' fault. Like I'm sorry. Like it was the fans and just the lack of like security, just everything just didn't add up into like a good thing. Like yeah, sure the players shouldn't have like initiate or they shouldn't have like started fighting, but like bro, Ron Artest was just sitting on the scores table and then a fan just threw a beer at Ron Artest with like just cuz. Like if you're getting thrown such object, like I would go ape shit. Like I don't blame the players whatsoever. So I think the fans and the security and officers needed to be held accountable way more than what they did have.
And how it's like, because this happened uh close to 20 years ago.
Right.
So you might be asking, well, why would they release this now? And how does this connect? Um, so the media shapes everything that you think. Scott and I are. This podcast is technically a form of media. Scott's meme page is a form of media.
Facts.
Uh,
I'm a brainwash y'all.
everything everything that you guys get your news source from, or anything that you look at on a day-to-day basis, is some form of media.
Right.
But I think what it shows is that media is never. Sorry, no wait. Media always has the right answer.
You're right. The media is never always right. Like there's some sort of bias in every single story. So of course, like the NBA or the media is gonna have a bias towards uh the citizens and not the players. And then the NBA is gonna have a bias towards the fans because and not the
That's how they make
players
their money.
because yeah, like the fans get the NBA money. So like why would you want to protect the players if you could protect the fans who give you money?
So that, and this just shows that this shows even more that the media is just
It's a,
rooting for their side.
it's an evil thing. Evil, evil,
Yes,
evil.
evil, but still listen to the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, but still listen to the podcast. All right. Hey, hear me out. Still look at my page, my meme page. All right. Listen to our podcast. That's a media you can trust. We reliable out here. But
Yes.
yeah. This documentary was just awesome. I highly recommend to anybody who didn't watch it yet. It was just really well thought out and creative. I honestly just may watch it again because it was just that good. Ryan, did you like it?
I actually liked it enough that I watched it twice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like last night I was like, "All right, Ryan, I'm gonna watch the documentary so we can make the podcast today." He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna watch it again." I'm like, "Oh, you don't have to." I was just okay. Um, but yeah, any closing thoughts, Ryan?
Let's give it. You know what? Let's give it a grade
All right,
because
bet,
we
bet,
love
bet.
our grading
Yeah, I was about to say
skills.
we always give a grade every single podcast. I fuck with it
Yes.
though. All right, what do you grade it?
All right, I'm gonna give it an. Uh, let's do an A. You know what?
Woo!
Why not?
Woo, baby.
All right, so here's why. Um, like the only thing is the only reason why I'd give it like a B plus or sorry, no, A minus is because I wanted it to be just a teensy bit longer.
Yeah.
I wanted more. Um, but other than that, it like covered everything super well. Maybe it was a little bit boring in the beginning, but
That's
like
that's how it usually is, so I'll give it a benefit of
yeah,
the doubt.
and it's one of like my top. Well, I don't watch many documentaries, but this was probably like one of my favorites, just because of like how close to home it hit.
That's
Because
true.
because we're Pacers
If you
fans.
guys didn't know, we are Pacers fans. Just so you guys
Yeah,
know.
and it just really, yeah, it really hit close to home, and it just like explained everything so well, and it was just really good. So I'll give it an A minus actually.
A minus, okay. I'll give
Yes.
it an A minus as well. Same reasons Ryan did, honestly. He hit it nail on the head. There is one thing I do really feel bad for is just Jermaine O'Neal and Reggie Miller because they worked so hard to get this ring. And Reggie Miller, this was his like last or second to last year. Like
Second
basically
to
his
last.
final, yeah, his final chance to get a championship for his beloved state in Indiana. And he just never got it because Ron Artest and Steven Jackson, they were just loose cannons, and it just led to so many suspensions that they eventually lost in the playoffs because they didn't have any good players anymore. It's just Reggie Miller and like Steven Jackson. Um, And then I feel bad for Jermaine O'Neal because after Reggie Miller departure, it was Jermaine O'Neal's team, but like all the chemistry is gone. He doesn't have a good squad anymore. Ron Artest left after that season, and I don't know. I don't know about Steven Jackson. Did he leave after that season?
Um, I
It,
think he stayed for a little bit longer, but
okay.
yeah,
All you need to know is that they didn't really do much after Malice at the Palace, and it's just really sad. Reggie Miller never got his ring.
Artest got a ring. He changed his name to Meta World Peace.
Yeah, he changed it. Yeah, but if you guys didn't know, he changed his name to Meta World Peace, so that's ironic as fuck. So yeah, he ditched the Pacers for the Lakers and won a championship.
Yes, he
And
did. With
every
Kobe.
yeah, everybody was pissed. Steven Jackson, Jermaine O'Neal, and Reggie Miller. Um, but yeah, I just like this documentary was great and it was really cool, but I just can't help like just feeling like very sad and just I feel so bad for Reggie Miller and Jermaine O'Neal. They've done a lot for our franchise and they just really couldn't get over that hump. But yeah. Anything else, Ryan?
No, I think that's it.
All right, hey. Thank you guys for listening, boys. Sorry this was a little bit longer. I think we'll usually do these like longer podcasts for like the special events, something like this, and then the post game podcasts, which I think will start. Do you think like pre-season or regular season?
We're gonna try and start the preseason. Scott and I are just really busy right now,
Yeah,
so we're just trying to really get like in tune with our schedules. But
right.
we'll start once we get in tune. We'll be able to start picking more times out. To make it. You guys just will have to bear with us for now.
Yeah, because me and Ryan haven't been able to watch the summer league games recently. I feel like that's a lot. That's like a lot of cases for the other Instagram pages. Um, yeah, because school started last week for most of Indiana, or like around 2 weeks ago. So we're just still getting in our schedule. We have jobs and we just have a lot of things going on. So I'm sorry for that. But by preseason, we'll definitely try and sit down, watch the game, and then share our thoughts to you guys. And that'll hopefully be around like 10 to 20 minutes, hopefully around the 15-minute range. But I think like these special episodes will be around 30 minutes. So yeah, just thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Peace.